Okay, good evening and welcome to the March 3rd, 2025 Limerick Select Persons meeting. Please join us for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, well, I will look for a motion to approve the February 18th meeting minutes since there was no meeting on the 24th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? And I abstain since I wasn't here.
I will also abstain.
Okay, I look for a motion to accept the warrants.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay. And would someone read the announcements, please?
The Planning Board will meet on this Wednesday, March 5th at 7 p.m. The Select Board will meet on Monday, March 10th at 7 p.m. As of March 12th, the transfer station will go back to summer hours, which means they'll be open until 5 p.m. The March vote will be held on Friday, March 14th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Absentee ballots are now available. The warrant questions are available to view on the town website, or a copy is available from the town clerk. The Historical Society will have goodies to sell that day. You can bring something to donate as well. Make sure to stop by and buy a goodie. The next semi-quincentennial, probably butchered that, quincentennial meeting for the town's 250th anniversary will be Wednesday, March 19th at 6 p.m. at the new fire station. They are currently looking for groups such as the Scouts, churches, etc. to participate in the event. Please reach out to Lisa LePage for more information, or please attend the next meeting. You may reach Lisa at 207-651-1594 or llepage6@yahoo.com. The Appeals Board has 3 vacant seats to fill. Please reach out to the Select Board admin if interested at 793-4475. As a reminder, if you're speaking at any meeting, please go to the microphone so everyone will be able to hear. And as part of the hearing a citizen policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting. And please stay current with town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
All right, thank you, Brady. Okay, next on the agenda is department reports, where we have Joanne Andrews from the transfer station speaking to us.
Just a quick report to get you up to date on the compactor project. We've shipped 5 loads so far, and the largest was just under 10 ton. That was accumulated in 3 days. So 10 ton in 3 days this time of year is about 25% of the door-to-door trash, or the total trash for the town. But in the summertime, we're going to need 2 loads a week, so that other container that we've got coming is going to be necessary, because we normally take in probably 16 to 18 ton in the summertime in over a 3-day period. So that's a lot of trash. The project is 99% complete. We've still got some interior work to do in the little building and have the heater installed. And our summer hours, believe it or not, are going to start on March 12th. I hope that morning it isn't 14 below zero when I open the gate. I hope it's a little warmer than that. But it's been exceedingly slow so far because of the severe cold. And but March 12th, we'll be closing at 5 instead of 4.
Summer is near.
Are we still paying more to get rid of the recycling than the household trash?
Yes.
By how much?
$26 a ton more. But they give us back the incentive. In August, we get a check back. But that can be anywhere from $600, we've taken in $600 to as much as $3,000. It depends on the market for the recycling.
So how many tons of that recycling are we sending out on
Right around 100 ton,
a year?
yeah,
So it's 2,600.
yeah. So the years that we get 600 back, that's not good, but some years we would pretty much break even.
Is there any word on that bill where the manufacturers will be giving money back to the towns for recycling?
No, nothing on that. They're working on, I guess, they've just increased now what you pay at a store for paint. They've gone up on that. They used to charge us 70 cents. Now it's up to $1.05 or $1.10 a gallon. But we take paint down there, use paint free, so there's no charge for that. But if you went to Westbrook, they charge as much as $3 to $4 a gallon for used paint. So, but the paint care program that we've got is really good. That works good. We take all kinds of paint, oil and latex,
Oh, yes, I've used it a number of times.
and it's free. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing they're working on is carpeting, that the manufacturers of the carpeting
Yes.
are going to have to pay something because that weighs a lot, and we charge $8 for up to a 12 by 12 carpet, and we're probably still not getting all that it costs us, but if you get much more than that, it's pretty expensive if you're recarpeting your house.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Moving on to old business, I noticed no legal accounts in the warrant, so there's nothing to report on that. The Cemetery Mowing Committee and the Veteran Cemetery Committee, there's nothing new on that. And the garden liability waiver, we're still waiting on that sample so we can review and determine if we need to put something in place for the public garden outside there. Okay, recap on Bricktown Hall accessibility policy and questions about second floor. There's an email, so this is a question from a citizen. Can the second floor also be used with its maximum occupancy for private purposes, with the first floor occupancy for all public and private purposes with maximum occupancy capacity of 49? If so, can this policy include statements like this? So that is a question for the board to consider. I think this is the first I've seen of it today, so it might be something we want to consider and see if there's any implications in that insurance-wise or CEO-wise or whatever we have to do to see if that's a possibility. So we will leave that under old business then and come back to it.
Excuse me, Gail, do you know there's no sound?
There's sound on I've notified FRCTV, it's their software, and the live stream is fine.
The live show on the computer, people getting signed,
YouTube is fine, as I found in audio.
and no sound over the TV.
Right, and I took a call.
As far as the Bricktown Hall goes, I think the fire marshal was, you could have 49 people on the second floor if you want, but you can't have 49 and 49. So you can't use both floors to 49. You're saying you can. I'm pretty sure the fire marshal said no. I stood there with him.
I did too.
Because his reasoning was,
The reasoning is that one floor can empty out before the other one will get there. That's what we were told.
and maybe it was a different fire marshal, but what they told us was they're all going to converge, and the reason for him going to 49 is because there is only the one exit, and that if you converge 49 coming down the stairs and 49 coming off the first floor, you now have 98, and that he was concerned about. But I guess we can double check and find out. But my understanding was 49 up or 49 down. 49 was the limit.
I have the recording, so I'll try to find it, but it's the gentleman that's now the fire marshal. His name is Richardson, that said that, but it could, new law.
We'll find out. Okay.
Okay, and what would be the next step on this?
Getting clarification?
Yeah, why don't we maybe ask Vinny to reach out to the fire marshal's office? He's got some contacts up there. And just clarify whether it's 49 on one floor or 49 on both.
Yeah, so report from Vinny and the CEO would clarify that. Okay, well, moving on is discussion of generator at fire station. So I guess there's a question. We have an extra generator that was donated to the town years ago, and now I believe it's Cornish is in need of one, and we have an extra, and whether we would approve donating that to the I guess it's the Cornish Fire Department. But that would. Any thoughts on that down the line there?
Well, we already agreed to do it. We just got to do a special town meeting. We'd have to do a special town meeting or vote in June because it's a town asset and we have to have the town vote to get rid of it. So the question is, do we do a quick special town meeting and get it to them sooner, or do we wait till June?
I think it makes sense to wait unless there's an emergent reason for it.
Yeah, I mean, if something else comes up where we need to put onto a town meeting, this doesn't need to be on it all by itself just for a special town meeting, I don't think.
Well, as simple as it is, I mean, I think they'd rather have it sooner rather than later. I don't know that anybody's going to oppose giving away a generator we don't use to another fire department that was donated to us at one point.
And they're in need.
And they're in need of it. I mean, we could do a town meeting, it'll take 15 minutes on a Monday night.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll get that information and come back to that.
What
hopefully.
information do you want?
The information from the fire marshal and also from the CEO.
No, this is a different issue. We're discussing the generator.
Oh, sorry, yes.
So we need to decide whether we're going to have a special town meeting or we're going to wait till June to do it.
Can you put in the shoppers guide?
That we're going to have a special town meeting?
Yeah, for Monday night.
Yeah, we have to advertise it if we're having a special town meeting. Yeah. I make a motion, we have a special town meeting as early as possible to donate the generator that the Limerick Fire Department is not using to the town of Cornish Fire Department.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
I will abstain.
Opposed?
Okay, going on to new business.
Well,
As soon as possible.
as soon as we can do it, so what are we gonna meet on the 18th again? 17th's in red, and I don't know what that means.
That's February.
That is February.
That
It's
is
St.
February,
Patrick's Day, but
yes,
we're not
okay,
going out.
wow.
I gotta flip that.
March,
It's the 17th. There is writing underneath it, so
It's St. Patrick's Day, but I don't think we're close.
so we could do it on the 17th, we could have time to get it advertised and,
Yeah, you'll also be electing new
It would be a
board
new
members.
board.
Yeah, officers.
For 17th at 7.
Okay, well, moving on to new business. We have a number of notice of proceeds, which are, I believe, reimbursing owners of properties where they were sold for, and this is over and above what was collected on taxes, so we have to give it back to the previous owner. So we have some of those to sign, and we can do that after the meeting. And then there's also a municipal deed to sign. Okay, and that is the municipal release deed. It's for map 32, lot 030. So that is something we can sign after the fact. And then there's a question about lights for the code office. Can we look to replace under ARPA funds, lights for the code office? This is the first I was aware of that, so.
I think that falls under the efficiency upgrades. If they're LED lights, I think that'd be a good use for the money, in my opinion. If they're not LED lights now, and it would be an upgrade.
Right, yeah.
The problem there, so there's, when the library meets their group of kiddos in that room above them, the lights shake the whole time that the group is up there. And it's nothing fault to the kids, and Cindy agrees, like, she always tries to keep them at bay, but, their lights are the older ones that now, for some reason, I guess, this building weren't replaced at that time, so they definitely could use some upgrade. So I wondered if we could use, like you said, the energy efficient, or get quotes for.
Why don't we get a quote for all three rooms? Why don't we get a quote for the whole first floor and see if we can get rid of all of these and see where we're at. There might still be some incentives for those too, so.
Okay, well, moving on, there's a question on revision of policies. The question is, do we want a few policies again a week to revise or change? I would suggest bringing that up to the next board in 2 weeks or 2 meetings.
I know we talked about maybe with the town manager thing, not that group, we were on a pretty good system where we were doing a couple a week, then them all brought back up. Either changes or there were no changes to the signature.
Updating them, because it's been years, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. We
To
should be
continue.
we should be constantly looking at them
We
because
kind of just put a pause on
Yeah.
it because we thought that would be the
We were
direction that.
hopeful, yeah.
by the time you go from front to the back, you turn and start at the front again because things change so often.
Yeah,
So
pretty good, but then I know.
we should be doing one on a regular basis.
Yeah, I know we were doing it, if they were small, I was bringing 2 a week. And they, like, if they were bigger, then we were doing 1, so.
There's a time that we could add policies too, maybe? Muting cell phone electronic devices in the meeting room.
I wonder where you got that idea.
Yeah.
Is that an emergency?
All right,
Never
then the final item under new business is to sign the report from R.H.R. Smith, which is regarding the audit, which we have received a draft of the audit for last year, and we will be reviewing that, and so I guess we can sign the, if we approve, we can sign the R.H.R. Statement and invoice, and then we'll review the numbers.
So we need to, this is gonna go in the town report, so we need to do this tonight. We need to sign the letter tonight so that they can remove the draft designation from this. And remember, this is still even though it's, this is not the full audit report. This is the basic audit they do to get us in the town report on time. Once we sign this and accept it, they'll remove the draft off of it, and it will be acceptable to put in the town report with the understanding that they are still working on the full audit, and there will most likely be some changes.
When do they, I mean, is this something that happens every year? We have just this
Yes.
kind of rough
They
draft?
do a,
When do we usually get the report? After, even if we had the open town meeting, it would still be after that?
yes.
Okay. I just wanna make sure that we're not-
Normally it'd be a month or two.
Yeah,
I think we should expect 3
yeah.
or more.
I just wanna
So
make
this
sure.
is the second draft that's been sent out. This is dated the 27th. The first one came out a few days before that. There were a few items that were obviously, again, even though this is not the final budget, there were some glaring items that were obviously incorrect. So I had a chat with Karen at RHR Smith. She did make some changes and created this draft report. I think the biggest thing is, and everybody believes this is a very accurate numbers. Everybody's always concerned about what our fund balance is, like our leftover money. When the report came out a week plus ago, it said it was almost $4 million, which anybody looked at it would know that unfortunately we don't have $4 million of undesignated funds. There was a $1 million correction made. So the budgetary fund balance right now is showing $2.894 million, so just under 2.9 million. That's very healthy for us. We need to have, according to our fund balance policy, we should be carrying around 2.1 million. So that being said, there is more in there than we need to carry. So assuming that number bears out and stays through the final audit, then we can look at what we can do with some of that. We could use some of that money to offset taxes when we set commitment. We could move it to capital reserve. We could leave it where it is. I think until we get our capital reserve account settled with all the lots we've sold, this should just kind of stay right where it is. And when we set the commitment in August-ish time of year, September, August, when we set it in August, we can see where we're at. And if we can use some of that to offset taxes or roll it over, in past, we have done both. We've used some to offset taxes. The bigger that number grows as things go on years to come. This was a big bonus for us when we did the fire station, right? We had $1 million there that we were able to use, that we had slowly saved up a little bit every year and still kept our fund balance where we needed it to be. So there's lots of schools to thought on how we can use that. But that's a number that everybody kind of tends to want to look at, and we believe that is accurate in this auditor's report. There's still some work to be done to move some money around, and they are still working on it. So, but at this point, I make a motion that we accept the draft audit report dated February 27, 2025, and sign the letter accepting it for RHR Smith, which basically says we reviewed it and we understand the financial information it represents and accept it.
Second.
You might want to wait a minute. My understanding, I have not been afforded either copy of the draft. I have told everybody in this building that I'm available. I'm not dead. Okay? And as far as I know, I'm the one that has to sign that. Unless you've had them change it, because the first year I was here, I had to sign that specifically. Nobody else's signature, the treasurer. And I have been following your meetings, so I know what's been attained and what hasn't. But if you look to see who the signature is, it's supposed to say the treasurer. I just don't want you guys to get into trouble if it's not signed properly.
Well, it just has a spot for signature and with a printed name, so it doesn't specify a
The letter usually does, Gil.
Well, the letter unfortunately says to Laura May, treasurer.
She's not treasurer.
Correct. So,
She can't sign that. And as I said, she wouldn't be there, and thank God she is there and came when I asked her. And I also, at this time, would like to thank Judy and Dee, but I'll wait till I can speak in the proper place. But I just didn't want you guys to get into trouble with having, she's not the treasurer, she's a deputy.
Well, the motion is just that we sign it. I guess we'll have to determine who actually has to sign it after the fact, but we do have a motion and a second, so all in favor?
Well, it needs to be signed. I mean, I could be wrong, but I recall in the past that the board chair has signed these in the past, maybe not last year. And maybe the treasurer's supposed to sign it, but either way, how?
And I'm not taking any liability of that audit because I have not been afforded a copy.
So how quickly do you think you can review it and possibly sign it?
Tomorrow.
Perfect.
Thank you. I wasn't trying to make trouble.
No, as long as we were trying to get the town report done,
Oh, I know.
and that's got to go in, so.
Yep.
Yep.
But I'm a phone call away, I'm a Zoom message, and I'll take more in a few minutes. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to sign it, and then we can leave it and make sure that it's ready to go before it's actually sent.
Well, now that we know, I mean, if Julie's going to review it and sign it, I don't think there's any question she can't sign it. I believe she can. I just think in the past, the chair has signed it, but
Yeah,
it doesn't specify. But if Julie wants to sign it, I'm perfectly okay with that.
that's fine. Is the copy you receive have the one to sign? It would be the first page.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all do.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just let us know when you've had a chance, if you just, drop an email.
Moving on.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, actually, that is all we have, so we'll open the meeting to a hearing of citizens. I see Cheryl.
Spring's coming, changes are coming, and I was just kind of reviewing over some of the contracts and stuff, and I found a lot of different things that, digging, that, just wondering why some of the contracts were done the way, extended without putting out to bids and stuff like that, like the sidewalks. I thought it run out this year, was informed, and Alicia gave me the new one that it's good for another year. That it was just extended for another year, and the contractor got a raise. Wasn't put out to bid, which is unusual because I thought that was one of our ordinances, but I'm getting caught up. The town properties, that is up this year. Is that going to be just extended behind closed doors, or is it going to be put out to bid for people to have a chance to make a living for their families? And then another year, we've got the town is coming up. I have a few problems on some of the ways things were, have been done. Some of the plowing, some of it hasn't been up to par. The town doesn't do the bridges. They don't have the 60-ton of salt. I mean, there's just so much here. I could stand here for an hour and show you what was. We're down 2 trucks right now for the plowing contract. I don't know if they're plowing with pickups and if that's even legal. There's no numbers on some of the trucks. And my main complaint is because we're not treating all the bidders the same. I have a letter here that is addressed March 9th, 2018, addressed to LSJ, and it's quite an accusing letter. They've been following them around and finding out that they've got trucks parked when it needs to be plowed. They didn't have their inspection of the salt shed. They didn't have their 60-ton of salt. The present one right now doesn't even have enough sand put up. He just stops at Carroll Material and picks it up when he needs it. And I want to know why all contracts and contractors are not treated equally. And are we going to have a bidding process this year as they come up?
Well, I will, you will have to ask the next board, you know, of those of us here, I can't answer. I will be,
Yeah, but there's 3 of them sitting here that will be.
So
And those 3 were on the board when they just extended the contracts on a whim.
I'll speak for myself because I will be here when some of those come up. When the town properties contract comes up, I don't think we should do anything different than we did with the plowing, with the trash contractor. I think we should ask that contractor for a price. If we believe that price fits in line, I think we should extend their contract for another year.
But why
That's my
should...
opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
When the snow plowing for the roads comes up, that should go out to bid because the contract needs a ton of tweaking in itself.
So does the contractor.
And I think it needs to be done, the contract needs to be done over, and there's a lot of changes that should be made.
But the ones that are there should have been abided by, or that's actually a breach of contract. And as far as the towns, what is the ordinance? Alicia, ordinance on putting things out to bid, anything over 2,500? You know it off the top of your head, or can I get a copy?
You mean like,
It's online.
yeah, it is online, but yes.
I mean, for facts right now. Not everybody can go online. So what I'm asking is, why are we just extending contracts when there's other people out there in these hard times and they want to make a living and they've got equipment that can run constantly and they don't have any problems? And just like the town contract, town properties, I read through that and it explicitly said that the fire station to be plowed and the new fire station to be plowed, entire lot kept clean behind the building. And then all of a sudden we find out that they're paying $1,500 a storm for the new fire station, which it was in the original bid. So why was that thrown in there? I mean, that was done just like the fire chief's contract. I believe that was done under executive session. I mean, why is this all being done just for 3, 4, 5 people to decide? The board is supposed to do the best interest for the town, and I don't believe you are. You're just adding things, you're not. How do you know you couldn't have got something a lot cheaper for the sidewalks, but you extended another year? I mean, why have things changed the way they used to be to give other contractors? I had 3 people lined up that would do the trash contract, and you could have got it a lot cheaper, but no, you just decided to add what they wanted on top of it. And why does the board feel that they're able to do that just because they think it's the best interest of the town? I mean, I've got pages here, and I'm not going to bore you with them, but there's definitely some problems around here. That LSJ got raked over the coals. They got this thrown in. They got accused of all this, and they were going to be fired, and it was nothing more than what the present contractor is doing now, and he's going to be plowing for us for another year. See, Alicia, this is why I wanted to be put on the agenda, because I get no answers from anybody.
Ask a question. I'll give you the best answer I can. I'll try to give you an answer.
Why does the board feel that they have so much more knowledge that they can decide on what is going to be extended and what is not?
Because we've seen over history that in the past few years when we've gone out to bid, let's take the sidewalks, for instance. We've received some lower bids, and we've received much poorer service to where we've had to two contractors quit. 2 in a row quit.
Okay.
So do we always want to go, I mean, do we want to look for the lowest dollar every time and get the lowest service? Or if we have a contractor that's doing, I don't think anybody can complain about Mellon's service. Everybody touts Mellon's, they do such a great job.
Well,
Extending them another year,
Right here. All sidewalks are to be finished 60 da. Both sidewalks on Main Street are to have snow blown into a truck or trailer. Are they blown into it, or are they just,
yeah, they do it, I go and watch them, they do it all the time.
what about Washington Street? They were all, that one there, oh, where's my old other one? It's supposed to be hauled away. But they just push it up and they put trucks on the sidewalks and drive, whatever. I'm just saying, the contracts, you crucify one contractor and everything's just pushed under the rug, we're gonna get rid of you. But every one of the contracts that have been signed, all three of them, there are grounds for,
Breach of contract? Breach of contract?
Breach of contract, thank you, yes. But you guys just sit there and don't accept it, you don't reprimand them, you don't, there's nothing publicly telling anyone that we're doing this wrong or anything.
So I'll ask maybe Alicia, because I think she sees a lot of it. How many complaints have you had this year through your office, your phone, for the way the town properties were plowed? Okay? So
Okay.
they may not be doing it as well as to the letter of the contract.
Then why
but-
have a
but-
contract?
Well, because there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, and
Yeah,
the sidewalks
yeah.
are being done well,
Yeah.
and nobody's complaining.
Yeah.
If they're not being done well, people complain, because when they weren't, we had two other contractors, we got
Well,
a lot
right
of
down
complaints.
here on, by Sean's apartment, right across from the lake, there was 2 feet of snow there for 2 or 3 days because apparently it come off the roof. I don't know whose problem it is, Sean's or Nick's or whoever's, but that sidewalk was completely blocked for 2 days.
Okay?
But just because somebody didn't pick up a phone and complain? I mean, why have a contract if the town's not going to abide? You make other people hold their feet to the fire
Well,
if something is not
I think the contract
done.
would say that it's, don't quote me, but it's snow that falls there naturally. So if it comes off a roof, from a private roof to the sidewalk,
Then it's
I
the-
would say that's the building owners.
Yeah, well,
Responsibility.
why isn't the board doing something about that? Who does that? The CEO, the board? I mean, it all needs to be put out so anybody can make a living in this town. You're just doing what the board wants, and
The people that are
unless
doing
the
it aren't entitled to
ordinance-
make a living?
Do you want to change the ordinances? I mean, this is, why do
maybe-
we vote on
maybe we
ordinances
should.
if the people, well, maybe you
Maybe
should,
we
but
should.
you're not, so why aren't you abiding by the ordinances that are written now?
Because the board is,
The board feels that they're better,
the board-
that they can decide.
well, the board's gonna decide anyways, right? Who's gonna decide if it goes out to bid? The people don't vote on it.
That's beside
The
the
board still
point.
decides.
That's beside the point. It's been out to bid. We have, how do you know we can't save $100,000 because the guy's got money and he wants to help the town out and he's going to plow for little or nothing? You don't know. You can't tell.
I don't know many.
Well, you don't,
Philanthropic-
John. You don't.
Philanthropical snow plowing guys. I don't, maybe there's an angel out there, I
Hey,
don't know.
maybe there is, but who do you guys think that you should decide not to give that person a chance? Anybody else
and-
can
and-
speak up. John,
know
he's not
that-
the chairman or even the co-chair.
You're asking for input.
Anybody else?
I'll do the best I can. I'm not gonna sit silent. Told you I'd try to answer your question.
Brady, what's your 2 cents worth in this?
I'm writing down what you're saying, and I'll review the contracts myself, and I'll share my findings with the sitting board and see what we can do.
Well,
I know a thing that we've considered is the quality of work, that the work's being done. We've had a good relationship with these previous contractors.
Yes.
In extending some of their contracts is something that we also, if I remember correctly, approached the attorney with to verify that it was something within our rights to do before we just decided to start extending contracts.
Yeah.
if it's in the best interest of the town, that's what our goal is.
Yeah. But by having the ordinance of putting anything out to bid, I mean, it's the same thing, the same ones. No one has a chance to put something out to bid and make a career or further or build a business or, you know, it's just not done in this town. It's all one. So why?
Well, as it comes up, I would suggest, you know, coming back when they're ready to review the contracts and bring that up and, you know, let the powers that be at the time know.
Yeah.
I'd also just look at the last few bids for certain things. For town-owned properties, I don't know that we've gotten multiple bids. For trash, we have not gotten multiple bids. We've gotten...
Have not in the
we've gotten
previous
one.
years, but there's other people out there now
Yeah,
that may
and-
want to get into a business. Well, we got 3 bids for the town plowing, and
Yeah.
one was identical, and that person had experience. So how do we know that just because you chose one, well, we know why, but that's all right.
Why was it? Why?
Because it was a Limerick resident.
No, there's
That
more to
was-
it that he should have recused himself. But,
Tell me why that is.
well,
Tell me, go ahead, you
Yeah.
get time. It's
Yeah.
early night. Tell me
because
why.
you're involved in that contract.
In what way?
In what way?
In what way am I involved in that plowing contract?
Yeah, well-
No, don't say I'm involved. Tell me how.
Because
Tell me how
you're
I'm involved.
backing him
In what way?
financially.
I'm backing him financially? If you can bring me 1 ounce of proof of that,
Okay, all
that
right.
I'm backing him financially.
Then everything will go out
That's
to,
a- that's
then
a
everything will
bold-
go out to bid?
He's
Did
one
everything go out to
person
bid?
on this board.
Did everything go out to bid?
No,
What do you
I
mean?
said if I bring you 1 ounce of proof,
Proof.
then everything will go out to bid.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You bring me 1 ounce of proof that I'm financially backing him in any way,
Well,
shape, manner,
maybe
or
not
form?
you personally, but your group.
Who?
Yeah.
Tell me how.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you
No,
where I
you're
get
gonna
my
make a lie.
information.
You're gonna stand up there and
No.
lie.
No.
If you're gonna tell lies,
I will
back
bring
'em
my
up.
I will bring
Back
my
'em up.
proof in.
bring proof.
I
Okay,
will.
let's move on, you know, just, you know,
All
there's
right.
no need to continue that.
Let's pray to God we have a different board that has individual people that vote individually and think individually.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, I see Rick's hand.
Ricky Richardson. I'd like to run a few things by you. As far as the price on the new fire station, the first year we plowed it for Great Falls because they approached us. And when it was turned over to the town, when the job was completed, I invited the board to do a site walk. So everybody was on the same page on how we were going to plow this and where the snow was going. The snow that we plow around that building ends up on the abutter's property with permission, because there's not enough room down back to pile all that snow. The snow from the old fire station, we truck over and pile it up, and then we haul that to the snow dump. So far this year, we've hauled 30 dump trail loads of snow out of not just the fire station, the old fire station, the town hall parking lot, and this building here, and 15 triaxle loads of snow, and winter's not over yet. As far as the $1,500 goes, that includes plowing, sanding, salting, and all the removal of the snow that we put on Charles's property, which I have permission to put it there, to make room so if there's an emergency, the fire department can get to all the access doors on that building. And as far as you people as a board making a decision, I think when you make a decision, you base it on not only the performance of the job, but also the reputation of the people doing the job. You know, if you're not happy, you're obviously going to say something. So, you know, people can complain about the roads, they can complain about what we're doing. That's fine. If you want to make some changes, I'm all for it. But as next time the contract gets rewritten, I'd like to see a lot more put in it as far as equipment goes. Because we have plenty of equipment to do the job. We have 3 sand and salt sheds full of salted sand, 200 pounds per yard. And we have plenty of insurance on all our equipment, and we pay excise tax in this town. And if something happens, we have people to fall back on that will help us at any given time. So that $1,500 might sound like a lot of money, but when you've got a $80,000 dump truck and trailer, 2 loaders, 2 snow pushers, a triaxle, and another wheeler, and I also have my brother to fall back on in case we have a big storm and we need help. He's got a loader and a dump truck, so I consider myself pretty fortunate to have the backup plan in place in case it's needed.
So Rick, before you leave,
Yes.
and I apologize for not knowing this, and I didn't look, and kudos to Cheryl. The contract you signed, that we all signed on November of '24, clearly states the new fire station, the entire lot will be kept clear of snow and down behind the building. The snow will be pushed to Charlie Pellegrino's lot next door and will be removed as needed.
As needed, yes.
And that was in the contract we signed. So when you asked us to go down and look and said it was going to be extra, I'll be honest, I didn't realize it was in this, it's in this contract that you signed, we all signed in November.
I thought we did
So I apologize, I mean, I certainly missed it. I'm going to guess that everybody else on the board missed it, but that was something that should have been done under your original contract and pricing.
That could be under the original.
It couldn't have been on the, yeah, the fire
Well-
station wasn't there.
I think we knew it was, I mean, it was November of '24.
But that,
So that was, enough of the fire station was there in November of '24 for us to know and put in the contract. And again, I'm not saying this year, we all missed this, we all missed this.
No,
So I'm
no.
not, but it's in the
That was
contract.
the first season that he just did the fire station.
We
He tried
signed
to
it
get an
3 years
addendum.
ago.
Yeah, it's up this year, John.
That was just an addendum for the.
That was an
the fire
addition to the
station
existing contract.
That we added.
We do a 3-year contract, and
What-
it expires this
Their
year.
contract is up.
Yeah.
So is this, okay.
that
all
was
right,
with the
okay.
The
update.
revision.
My
Oh,
apologies.
the
So
selectmen were there when we discussed it.
I was there.
Right.
So
I
I'm
just
looking
can't
at
remember
this,
the
and,
date.
all right.
It was before the season.
So we signed a new contract when we added the fire station.
Amendment.
Just, we signed like an
Okay.
addendum to his contract.
All right. All right, well, it's showing like it's a whole new contract, but yes, so, all right. So it would be, I'm confused, and I can see where anybody looking at it might be confused. And I apologize now again for getting corrected, but I do see that now where this was only signed a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In that contract, John,
Yeah.
there's no, which there should be like a prerequisite on equipment needed to do these jobs.
There should not be.
No?
No, I looked at many
So what if
plowing
somebody
contracts.
bids on it and they don't have equipment to haul all the snow off and they don't have access?
You say there should be a requisite or not?
There should be a requirement in place. Because if somebody, let's say somebody comes in under and you accept it and they don't have access to remove all the snow, and so where are we gonna stand there?
Well, I've looked at a lot of the other town contracts. Most of them do not, most of them say you must have the equipment necessary
Right,
to get the job done.
okay.
To actually start specifying, like we have in our road plowing contract, the number and size of trucks. I mean, a lot of towns now are plowing with a lot smaller trucks, right? You look at a lot of towns, they're using 1 tons and a little bit bigger with wings on them and doing a lot of plowing as opposed to the much bigger trucks.
Well,
So-
our equipment's getting bigger.
I know, yeah, and I'm talking about, but I looked at a lot of the other contracts.
Right.
Very few of them specify the actual equipment. It just says, you must have the equipment necessary to get the job done.
And hopefully you're aware of that
And
when this
hopefully,
comes up, you know?
when it comes out, yeah.
Okay.
Again, when this contract comes up again, I'm gonna recommend we extend it a year at a time, another year. But that's just me, and that'd be down the road here a little bit.
Well, speaking for contracts in general, not specific to anyone, we have talked in the past, the recent past, about adding maybe to our purchase policy under bidding, to look for like experience and, references or something along those lines, just so that we're not putting ourselves in a position, where, like you said, we hire the lowest, bid, but we have no quality, or they quit because they can't meet the terms. That could save us in the future. And I don't know if it's reasonable to add it to the purchase policy. But it sounds good to me.
I think it's important that we get bids out early, that we have time to review them, that we're not awarding them the day they come in, perhaps, to give some time to do some of that.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Oh, Joanne?
Can I, would you like
I want
that
to say
instead of going
something
to stand?
quickly about the trash contract. In years past, I've sent out a request for bids to 11 different companies. Of those 11 different companies, there's only one company left that will do door-to-door pickup in the town of Limerick. They all shy away from it because of Lake Arrowhead. Lake Arrowhead is a big factor for them to do door-to-door pickup in the town of Limerick. It's basically another 300-400 stops for the contractor. This year was no different. There was no other town, no other company that would have bid. I didn't even make some extra calls to make sure. And I wasn't happy with the increase. And we're probably not going to be happy with the increases in the future because they're the only company right now that's doing it. Triano wouldn't do it. They were one of the people I asked, and they're the ones now that are going to haul from the transfer station because they took over, they bought out Herrick. But it's not, we didn't try to put it out to bid, we did. I've got a list of the 11 companies. Anybody wants it, they're welcome to have it. And
Yeah,
they
maybe-
got a written letter asking them for bids.
Yeah, if they're aware that, maybe what they knew of the cost in the past was going to be, that it's considerably more now based on recent bids, that might entice them to.
Well, I wasn't
Take
happy with
advantage.
the increase, but what are we going to do? It's the only game in town. An other alternative, do away with the door-to-door pickup. That's our only other alternative.
Well, that
And I
might be,
don't think that the townspeople are going to vote to do that.
well, it might be worth looking into and presenting it.
This lady would like to speak. She's been trying to speak, but she can't get up. Could she speak right from her seat?
Just one statement. My point is, it appears better if everyone has a chance. It's not a conglomerate done deal. Everybody has a chance. They might be better, they might be worse, but if the variety is better than just the constant.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm your treasurer. I'm sorry that I'm coming in and sitting down here. I hope you can hear me. First of all, I would like to let the people that have been very supportive of me around the town due to my injuries. I know that some of you think they were minor, but on January 7th, I smashed my face totally in and was rushed to the hospital. January 25th, I broke a vertebrae in my back, L1. I had surgery 2 days later and was in the hospital. I am under doctor's care right now. I got at least 2 more weeks. If I treated it like I'm supposed to be out a lot longer. Thanks to my friend coming tonight. She's making sure I'm behaving. She works with this sort of care, so it's very nice to have her here. And I have the capability of working at home on a laptop, and I've been following your meetings. Then also on February 20th, the only thing that was scheduled was I had a heart ablation. That's where they go in and they burn your hearts. They put a hole right straight through my heart. I'm not dead. My brain is very active, and anybody has any questions, the girls in the office, they can reach me. I'm in constant communication with Laura May, and I thank God that she came to help. And I can't thank enough Judy and Dee Dee. They have been keeping me up to date, and I'm trying to ask for materials. I would also like to thank the selectmen for the flowers. They came to my house a month after I had my back broken, and also to thank John for calling once, and Wade, I think I shamed you into calling, but he did, and he got the butt of it, and that was the night my flowers came, so thank you very much. Just to go in quickly, if I may, going over your minutes, on the 27th, that was the day I was being operated on, and it says I was at the meeting, and I wasn't, definitely. I didn't even remember what was going on that day, as I've been told. And as far as, I've covered the bases on what actually happened to me. I'm not trying to be crying wolf or anything. I take this very serious because if I mess up my back, there's no going back. My disc, the number one disc, is cemented. And they sent me home with a brace, but the brace, since my frame is small, hurt more than the surgery. So, and I'm not supposed to drive with what I'm on medication. But I am available, I'm not going anywhere. I'm available for questions. If you want me for a selectmen's meeting, we have the capability of doing a Zoom to have me there to answer any questions. I'm at your disposal, and as I said when I was originally elected in, I was very honored to get voted. Yes, I was the only one, but I come in with credentials of 18 years and 51 weeks as a treasurer for the town of Waterboro, and 10 years as being on the state board for the Tax Collectors and Treasurers Association, and that's an elected position by all of my other treasurers statewide, or else I didn't do it. I wouldn't get it. But that's just the starting, but there was a lot of stuff that came up on the third meeting, and if they bothered to call, I could have alleviated a lot of grief for everybody, from questions from John, from Joanne, from Howard, from Mr. Carroll. No bills are sent out of the town hall unless the warrant is signed, and the only way any one of them has gone out since I have been elected was for the authority of the selectmen, because we couldn't get all 3 selectmen in. And I have 2 deputies and a lady that's helping. Judy is my deputy, and she's a godsend as far as the foreclosures and everything, and we try to make sure everything is being done legal. When we've had a question, we have called a friend in Swansville, that taught the class for MMA on all of this, and right now, being in touch with Augusta and whatnot, nobody is understanding the sale of property. It's a complete cluster, you know what. And but says if I need any help, she's there for me. Her work ethics are like mine. She's even having some difficulties. Her husband is just diagnosed with cancer, but we still do our job. Do you have a code of ethics? I have not been afforded a copy of that, and I would really appreciate it. But I'm sure you folks do not know that the tax collector and treasurer through MMA have a very strict code of ethics, and we take it very serious. You may tell us to do something, but we work for the state, and the state mandates what we can do, what I can sign, or anything. I do not look good in orange or stripes, and I don't want to be. And when I have met with you folks, I know you all weren't there, and I'm sorry for that. My bad. I told you my honesty gets me in more trouble than it's worth. I will never lie to anybody. If I've been told I can't say what I'm supposed to say, I won't tell you anything. And I will let you know that I can't answer your questions right now. But that's just the starting, but anything I would love to go over any of this talking, and I verified some things even tonight with Laura and Judy, under the new business, you talked about the deputy treasurer and the payroll. Laura's been awesome with that and following through with it. I called the payroll company several times at home, and they wouldn't return my call, even though I was the treasurer. In regards to the question on bonding, per the state, anybody that handles money is supposed to be bonded. So that includes Dottie, the library, the fire department, and especially Stan, because he's getting the checks for these properties. He should be bonded for an average of what he's taking in. And also he should be, we being Judy, Dee Dee, and myself have all shown you the laws. He also should be sworn in, because without his being sworn in, his signature is null and void, and I verified that in Augusta. All right, I'm not, as I said, I'm not here to cause trouble. One of our ethics is, I'm not from Limerick, but I'm here to protect the town and their assets and their liabilities. The people are the ones that pay me, and I take that with great pride. And then there was a question, one more question, and I'll be quiet for the night, but I would like a chance another night to have this all in row, about my line item for my budget. I know that Dee Dee spoke on it, and I'd like to tell people how that came to be, that large figure. Only one lump sum was shown, but in the actual budget, before it was pulled out of there, that line included my salary, my deputies, none of them have retirement, we just have FICA and Medicaid. It included training, travel. 2 of the conferences are a stay overnight, because one's in Waterville and one's in Bangor, that is recommended highly by the state. So I'm not driving 156 miles both ways in one day, and never have, and my body just says no. But that was also included. The courses cost money. My previous predecessors my job, where I work, the town didn't have to pay for it, because I was on the state board, and that was one of the benefits. But with what we're trying to accomplish here, and get your books back on, because was no SOP, no way to follow the budget, where you had your problems, and right from the get-go, I asked for help from the auditors. We asked and asked, and I called. And then I get a call, and we had a meeting with Ron Smith. I can't get into the details of it, but the part I can tell you is a conversation that he had with me before I was elected, and told me the mess that I was coming in. It's not Laura's fault, it's how you keep your books. All of this money traveling where it is, and I know some of you on the board don't like it, is designated fund balance. Forget about this undesignated fund balance. All you have to do is, if you've designated it and you find out you need it someplace else, is have your 15-minute meeting, because all you have to have is less than, I think, 30 members of your municipality to vote on it, if they're all registered voters. But that is so much easier than doing a due to, due from, due to, due from. So when you got your money that's coming in, you're telling your parties where you're going to put it, and then you're moving it to a point B. Well, you don't want to leave it in point B. It's got to go to point C, and you've got to be really, really careful. And I know Ron Smith, the auditor, is supposed to be training. I could be doing this while I'm home, but had no conversation. But as I said, any taxpayer, if you honestly want an honest answer and anything that I can do and get you that information, I will be glad to do it. That's part of our oath. And one more thing on my wages, there's a substantial increase, because that was decided in a meeting when they gave me my vacation time, because I do not get any sick time. All I got was my vacation time, and I was given 4 weeks, and as of the 5th of this month, I get another 4 weeks because I've been here a year. So what I'm home now, it's not coming out, yes, it's out of the budget, but it's time that I am owed. And that's about it. And that money was promised me when I was hired. We had a handshake, and it wasn't a backdoor deal, but it was a private meeting. And I know what I spoke about the auditor, that's open because he said it to me. He called me, and then he mentioned it right in a session. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your support, and I'll do my level best not to let anybody down in this town. Thank you.
All right, Julie, thank you, and we wish you a speedy recovery.
Now, not for God's ears.
Okay, is there anyone else? Okay, we'll take that as a yes.
Steve McLean. One thing on the second floor, we were talking about the Bricktown Hall. Can we use it where it's not handicapped? That was part of the discussion. So if we're going to rent that out, do we have to limit people that can be up there? So that's something to find out. So you're going to have a conversation with the fire marshal, find out what the hell's going on, because there was talk about it not being handicap accessible.
If somebody wants to use it for a private function, but no town-sponsored activity.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, we ought to get it all.
No matter what, the second floor cannot be used for a town-sponsored activity right now.
Yeah, so, you know, at some point, we got to spell out what we can and can't do up there.
Well, we know we can't use the second floor for town-sponsored activity.
Okay.
We're getting clarification whether we can go back to using the first floor for town-sponsored activities through the DOJ.
Yeah.
And we will clarify whether it's 49 or 98 if it's a private activity using the second floor.
And on the generator, if you're going to put a little thing in the shopping guide, all right, people have said to me, oh, why are we getting rid of the trailer generator? It's not the trailer generator, okay? So when you guys put a little ad in there, we want to give Cornish Fire Department, right, for their tower. The generator, which I believe is 30K propane generator, that was donated to the town of Limerick Volunteer Fire Department by the Kennebunk Fire Department, okay? That's how it all came about. So we don't confuse people thinking it's the nice trailer generator that we're not getting rid of. It's the one we haven't used this thing, and it was in good intent, all right? They called up, Sonny LePage went down, picked it up free of charge, and it's been sitting there since, so, you know. Originally, they thought the water district could use it, but, you know, that didn't happen, so you might as well move it along before it gets trashed or thrown out the trash.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, the floor is yours, Brad.
Hi, Brad Libby. I'm a little frustrated. I like to watch these meetings. Fortunately, I'm just across the street, so I can come walking over. But it just seems that time after time, where something is screwed up with the audio-visual around here. Tonight, can't hear it. The audio is done. Can't we do something to get this situation resolved, maybe once and for all?
Well, I know that it's been something we've been working on for quite some time, and it's not, it hasn't resolved itself completely. There's times when it's working for one part and not the other, and so it's been in the forefront of our attention lately, but we haven't figured it out yet.
Okay, probably not just me, but it's very frustrating.
So we have a agreement with SRC TV that when something like this happens, now since we've been having some issues, we've been lucky that the past 2 to 3 weeks it's been okay, since a lot of stuff. SRC TV will clearly point everything to our operator and say it's her fault. Okay?
You didn't do it, did you?
No. So they will clearly say it's her fault.
Okay.
And Gail will say nothing she can do, it has to do with theirs. So tomorrow, I will personally, because I've been dealing with them a little bit, get on the phone with both gentlemen from SRC TV, and they need to provide us a answer as to why there was no sound tonight. Okay?
I think there should be some serious hand slapping done.
Well, if it's something here locally, then we have to deal with it locally. If it's on them, they have to admit it's on them, okay? So we asked them to send a technician here for 2 meetings,
I heard you.
so that they could watch what Gail was doing, she could see what they wanted her to do. They've come in a couple times off meeting hours. They have not provided the 2 meetings that we asked. They made some demands that we weren't interested in hearing. We came to some resolutions as to how we were going to move forward. They were going to provide us a new technician, and they have. Unfortunately, he's not available on Monday nights to be here. But that agreement was made. That agreement was made
Pretty
when
thin over there.
that agreement was made when everything was going well for that short period of time. So tomorrow the clock starts over, and the messages will go out, and the phone calls we made is somebody needs to tell us why we didn't have sound tonight. And if it's SRC TV, they got to admit it. If it's here, we have to admit it's a local problem, and we need to fix it. Find out what it is.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? In that case, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you, everyone.